2 formation. Road change now, we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill, they head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Apex Online Racing. You join us at Snetterton for this Tier 2 race, race number 4 in our calendar in sunny Norfolk. We're in the GT3 League, Season 8, and I'm joined today by Cardinal Smith.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, Arctitutus. Thank you very much. I'm Cardinal. Hi, good evening, everyone. Really excited about this.
Yeah, me
trip
too.
to Snetterton.
Me too. Tricky track, and expect to see lots of thrills and spills.
You're darn right. I've been paying attention to some of the chat amongst the drivers throughout the week, and it's been a challenging testing for this track.
They hate it. They hate it, let's be honest.
All right, let's cut to the chase. Yeah, it's been a hellscape.
Yeah.
but that means we're going to have a great race.
So just a bit of housekeeping. You may notice that it's me and Cardinal rather than me and Timosaurus. Timosaurus had a personal emergency today. Everyone's fine. Everyone's back home. Everyone's good. But I think they've had such a long day, they're going to have a cup of tea. So Cardinal's very kindly agreed to step in at the last minute and give Timosaurus a break whilst I lead us off.
Yeah, and much love to Timosaurus. And we'll be expecting him back, obviously, next time round at Nürburgring. But tonight, how are things looking out there in Snetterton?
Well, we're just at the end of free practice. We come on a couple of minutes early just to bed ourselves in. We're expecting practice to turn over into qualification in about 2 minutes' time. But I think you'd noticed some newish names who'd been putting some fairly interesting times in.
Sure have. Ark and Rins, number 81. Let me just get his details.
In the Vauxhall Vectra.
In the Porsche, the Vauxhall Vectra branded Porsche, which I think we give style points to because it's absolutely fantastic livery, has been leading the practice time so far. Now, what's interesting about that? Rins hasn't started a race in Tier 2 this season. Plus, perhaps a new driver, but really going to make his mark, or hoping to, at this track today, if he manages to finish the race and converts the practice time into the race and qualifying. But, you know, those what ifs could be just solid track.
But, sorry, I'm mildly distracted, just making sure that our sound levels are okay for AC2, so I've just popped them up a little bit.
That's probably important.
Yes, get the feeling going. Put it up a bit more. Okay. Yep, let us know in the chat how things are. But apparently our voices sound lovely. So
Oh,
one half of it's good.
fantastic.
This is my first time streaming as well, so slightly paranoid about the OBS, but it looks as if everything's okay. But yeah, relying on the chat to let us know as a second producer if anything's not going well.
It will absolutely be relying on track. And just to finish my point about Rin's Crozian, who's still leading the practice at this stage with the fastest time by 2.5 tenths, which is surprising. He hasn't raced in any of the GT3 leagues before. This is his rookie season, but he is experienced in ACC and with Apex Online Racing, having won the silver category of our Hungaroring endurance races.
So, not a softie at all then.
Not a brand fresh new pickle, for sure. Well pickled.
We're just on board now with well, he was going around the track, Shelebanov, and he's our current championship leader right now. First place with, well, a 6th and a 4th actually, but just goes to show top 10 consistency, what it can do for you. I've got Nicolas Nogueira from Espanyol in 2nd, and Nikita Borogoditsky in 3rd currently. So those are some drivers we're going to need to keep an eye on today.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been following the league so far. This is tier 2. These are prime, really good drivers, just ready to push into tier 1 up to in that Super League. But the championship is up and down. Those first 2 races, totally different results. You've touched on a couple of drivers. They're at the top because of consistency. Consistency finishing the top 10, whereas drivers who've raced, such as Ryan Renoir, currently 4th, won the first race at Kyalami, DNF'd in Misano.
It was almost a total reversal in those first 2 races, and of course we didn't get to see anything last week because of the outage that shall not be named. We're going to reschedule that for next week. So it's been a little while since we've seen everybody, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a complete reversal. Nobody really featured from the first race who did well in that race in the second race. So maybe different tracks, different cars. They might be diametrically opposite in terms of what they're capable of between those 2 tracks, Kyalami and Misano. So hopefully in this race should start to see a settling in of who's really going to be pushing for the championship win.
For sure, and I guess the cars make an absolute huge difference. I'm keen to see what's going to have an impact on Snetterton. It's not a track I've seen in any of the AOR races so far. So which car is going to be fast? It's a technical track. It used to be an old runway similar to Silverstone. It's a hellscape. The hellscape. Yeah. We'll get on to the specifics of the track. We're getting up to that. We'll get run to a particular corner, fan favorite.
So everyone's just warming up still. I'm keeping an eye on Shilbanov because he's our race leader, but we'll flit around and see. I mean, a couple of picks for me. I've got Oleg Pitchik, who did so well last week, that was his first race, so he may well be very consistent for all we know. And we have some old flames with Alexander Irish and Richie, Van Meerveld, Fang, who had that nasty spin last week. So yeah, interested to see how this plays out on this technically demanding track.
Keep going. I'm just trying to translate in the chat. So we've got a Ukrainian, and he's saying, Oleg, let's go to the floor.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah.
I think he's talking about driving, though, not a drinking game.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, let's stick to driving.
So I was interested then.
And I guess, is that Oleg Pitchik? He's currently 5th in the championship, and the
a lot of support
winner.
for Pitchik out there. Actually, he was there were a big lot of fans in the chat. So, you know, keep spamming the chat with your support. We want to see it.
Oh, I love that. So Pitchik won in the last race out of Misano in the big Boatley.
He did.
And on a lovely round 100 points because they didn't start the first race. So maybe Pitchik's here tonight. Big chance to take a.
Well, let's take a little look at him.
The table.
Fantastically coloured Bentley. I don't know if you can see that. You've got your packs all loaded up, but yeah, it's taking purple and blue and black to a new level. cyberpunk-esque, I would say.
Let me just take a look at that ballast. Mad Max number plate in the back. Oh my days.
We'll have to have a little quick, little look at that. Lovely to see. Anyway, we've missed the first few times being put in with Whitburn, Meervald, Krozen, Kadee, and Witkowski all putting in decent times. That's quite a big gap, actually, isn't it, from Van Meerveld to Whitburn? 0.16 is a lot of time and change on this track with these levels of drivers.
Yeah, at this stage, I think really what you're talking about is the track is cold, so it's being reset from practice. We're gonna see these times tumble, and we just see Alexander Irish blasted to second place there, just a tenth off first. Pitchick being moved down to 10th. These times are gonna fall pretty fast once they get into their second and third laps.
Yeah, and a few of these cars take a few laps, of course, to get their tyres up to temp, and everything still needs to be sort of weaned in. As we watch one of the bollards missing already in this session.
Rip.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was one thing mentioned by the drivers in the chat was how important some of the markings are at this track and this circuit. They really use those for those technical weaving corners. The braking zones, you're braking while steering in a lot of these corners, especially in the sector 3. So those markers are pretty crucial. So if they're gone already, you know, who knows how this is going to play out. And look at those times start to tumble.
Pitchick, as we were watching him come over the line, was in pole position for about 0.5 of a second. And then Krozen comes in and storms in with 0.27, but there's hardly anything between those two guys.
Do you know what? Krozen's actually getting the slipstream from Pitchick while they go on their lap. They're only 3-4 seconds behind each other. And as we say that, Jonathan Watts takes the new pole in the Valtteri Bottas car number 77.
Let's just have a little look at that one.
I say just because of number 77. Let's take a look at the livery.
Let's have a little look.
It's a lovely big Merc.
Big black and silver Merc. What else would you have on a Merc?
Means business.
So, just over 8 minutes left in qualifying at the moment. Things may be taking shape, but certainly not settled by any means. And we've got a few people here that are usual players. We've got Meerveld, Whitburn, Pitchick, Krozen, Bogoditsky, all in the top 10 at the moment. Van der Velde had a nasty spin the last race we had, and I think was disqualified on that horrible Misano little spit of land just on the last but one corner. And I think we saw a couple of tier races have that disqualification happen. So looking to recover from that, frankly, heartbreak.
That's pretty dreadful to hear. We've seen that up and down the different tiers. With a couple of spins, the cars rejoin, and then the game has automatically disqualified them, which is pretty nasty impact on their championship.
Yeah, it's because you can cut so much of the track there at Misano. The game just says, nope, you're gone.
I will say, not in every tier, it wasn't necessarily an accident either. We had a particularly good one in tier 10, where somebody just cut out half the track. But the game said nope, thankfully.
So just with Krozen again now, and I think that's the first sub 145 we've seen. I didn't recall, I was too busy chatting, whether he's actually just posted that, but looking good. I mean, 0.3 is huge.
We've finally broken the 45 barrier. 144.9 is a beast of a time. We're not going to have too many more laps left in this session. Jan Climbs has jumped up into 4th. And what sort of situation is Jan Climbs in the championship? 8th, the Czech driver. In another Porsche. We've got a Porsche one.
Is this a Porsche track?
Well here. Is it a Porsche track?
Is this a Porsche track? I think it's very curby, isn't it? Porsches don't love the curbs. I mean, you're better at knowing the cars than I am. But I didn't think that it was a Porsche track.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right, but the Porsche is tricky to drive, but it's, if those drivers know how to drive the Porsche beautifully and well, then they're absolute, beasts.
I'm speaking as a tier 10 driver, as as are you here. So, what these guys are doing with the intricacies of these machines is beyond my simple brain.
Oh, we have no right to commentate or
Why are we here?
on these fantastic drivers.
Good to see our coordinator there, Dor, just creeping into the top 10. Sorry, Colin.
No, Dor in the Audi. So is that the only Audi in the league making a good name for itself? What looks it? McLaren's as well making a good name
Certainly
for themselves.
aren't many.
6th, 7th, and 8th.
And got Nogueira here as well, just up at 5th in qualifying at the moment, and he's second in our current standings, and I think he was second in the race last week. Yeah, he was. So
and Nicolas Nogueira, the Spaniard,
yeah,
rookie season as well.
Yeah.
I mean that's
This is a bit of a dark horse tier. We've got a lot of guys out there who've done a couple of endurance races, done really well in them, don't know much else about them, and they've come in here and just put their foot through the floor and really stamp their authority on this. It's early doors in the championship with 2 races done, but yeah, a lot of new blood.
Oh, 100%. And you know what? Nicolas Nogueira probably showing is the pace to push up to tier 1. This is the rookie season. Obviously, if
you've promoted him already.
Let's see how the race goes.
Let's see how he goes.
But what I'm saying is there's a weighting. If you've raced in previous seasons, there's more likely, and you performed well, you're more likely to be into the top tier. So, Nogueira, if he can hold out this kind of performance and keep that going across the season, next season we could be looking at a tier 1 driver.
Yeah, absolutely, and then that's tier 1 up.
Early days for me to call that.
Spin for Dor as we're watching him there, and he's hit. That could be the end of his qualification with 3 minutes to go. So just going to put us back. I enjoyed that little spin.
Oh, we've got a spinner. We've got a spinner in Dor, the host. Not ideal. Heading back to the pits, unfortunately. Really good time. Stuck there in 7th. Three and a half minutes left. Rins Krozen. First race of the season in Tier 2 for him. Not getting as much a tow now. Rather towing a couple of other drivers, Van de Velde and Crowley behind him. He'll be wanting that, but he's such a strong lead right now. On 5/10. 44.7. That is darn near untouchable at this stage.
That is a statement.
Behind
that is a statement.
That McLaren of Van de Velde.
Let's see what
Possibly could get a good tow here if they can. It's good conditions. Obviously, the McLarens like it. Perfect track, grippy track. Nice technical track. So, a car stopped in the middle of the track there.
So I was just looking at Watts there,
That'll
because
probably upset Rins Krozen, or at least distracted the lap.
he's our only hope, I think. Well, everyone has a chance, sure, but I mean, look at that half a second gap with Krozen, with 2 minutes to go, and I don't think anyone's getting there. Krozen doesn't even feature in our top 20 even for the current championship, so
Yeah, John.
it should be an interesting
Let's
race.
see Watts now on the climbs in 3rd.
Okay, under 2 minutes left now.
156. These are these guys' last laps of the race. I think Jonathan Watts is a 10th up on his time right now. He's on a good lap. Jonathan Watts. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to take pole, but it could cement
It's a whole
second
half a second.
place. Out through these last couple of corners, this technical third sector. This is the tricky turn. This is where you need to launch over the inside. Don't take too much to the outside and it ruin your lap, but get a good enough run into the start-finish straight.
And I've just realised I've been on mute for a long time, Cardinal, so sorry to leave
Over
you
the
out there to
line.
dry.
Oh, it's good to have you back. You joined us for the last minute of qualifying.
I mean, I was completely wrapped in attention, that's why I'd muted myself. But yes, absolutely, this half second I was saying to nobody in particular, you know, a huge gap, and I think Watts was our best hope, really, but maybe
Well,
there's
he's
a
got-
lap left for a couple of the guys who just finished.
They've all got one lap left, that's for sure. If they've started the lap, there's enough time to finish it, I think, before the flag comes down and halts proceedings. Alexander Irish sneaked up into 5th there.
Yeah,
Did you see the accident?
Oh, and Watts is
with-
off, and he's
Oh,
off.
Watts.
He's hit the barriers, and I think that's all she wrote for Watts. So maybe we can see if how Climbs is getting on. Like Crozen
What's
is in
she
the
gonna
pits.
do about it? That's an absolute climb. Flag
And-
comes down for qualifying.
And they've said no, that's enough. So Pitchick's the only one left out on track, are they?
Pitchick, I think, isn't on a. I don't think his laps faster than his current fastest. But you know what? We're getting to see a great, sample of his livery here.
I'm thinking Far Cry, the 80s game. You know, oh no, he's
Oh
in
yes.
Oh,
What was that?
Dragon something. Yeah,
Blood Dragon or
getting
something.
getting that feeling from that. Livery.
Yeah, a synth wave.
Yeah. If that car was a musical note, it would be a huge orchestral hit on a Casio keyboard.
Oof. Oof. I love it.
So
are we
Whitburn's
looking at here?
across the line, and oh, straight into second with Whitburn at the death.
No.
At the death, 0.4 realistically behind Crozen, but it's a tremendous effort. But no one could touch Crozen in this session.
Matt Wilburn taking second place right at the death when the track was at its grippiest, when he only had a few more seconds left in this session to get that time in. And what an important lap that's going to be, because there could be chaos in this first sector. I'm predicting there may well be.
I think we're going to have to spread out and watch all down the lineup when we're looking at the first corner here today. Because
Yeah, a good result for Whitburn today, by the way.
Races.
Oh no, well no, don't. Let's.
The practice races have been interesting.
Do we have stewards inquiries for practice races?
I don't think we usually do, but I think there's been maybe a few inquiries based on what I've seen, certainly in the lower tier ones.
For sure. Well, tell me this: how have our leading team, done so far? So Alexei Shabanalov and Nikita Bogor-Desitsky in the race field team. You're saying McLaren, Ferrari. What are their qualifying results? Nikita down in 9th, and Alexei in 11th.
Those are some fast boys, and they were the ones who thrashed us, if you remember, when we teamed together at Silverstone. And, they thrashed us in the sense they weren't in the same tier as us, but they thrashed everybody in all of the tiers. And, I think that...
I'm sorry, they can only thrash us. Do they normally race with the Formula 3 driver?
Yes, he's currently in tier 1, so we're not allowed to comment on tier 1, so we have the rest of the team here. But yeah, those boys are making a serious name for themselves. So just to run down then through the qualifications. So Crozen, as we said, in pole position, followed by Whitburn on the first row. Second row made up of Watts and Climbs, with Pitchick and Alexander Irish in 5th and 6th. Good results for those guys. Nigera, the Spaniard, in 7. Van Meerveld had a lot of Dutch support last week. We've got Borgoditsky in 9th in the Ferrari, and our coordinator, DOR, in the Audi, finishing off the top 10. Garden.
Lovely. And then our other Russian counterpart, Alexei Shablanov, leading the championship, starting 11th in the midfield. And we have behind him Bruno Kadeli, followed by
South
Artez, South African. Where are you seeing all this? You're a
I
master
remembered
of
from last
information.
time.
Yeah, of course you did. Fantastic.
Sorry.
Arquettes Rodriguez. Where's Rodriguez from?
You're testing me now. I only know a few.
Yeah, 100%. Never mind. He started 13th.
Don't.
And in 14th, we got Andy van der Vel. I think gonna need a good result here today. 15th, Sheldon Muscat. 16th, Chris Witkowski. 17th, the fantastically named Jay Fang. Love that. 18th, Mark Bastida. 19th, Ignacy Bucek. Bucek. I remember him from the Donington. Did very well at Donington endurance race. And 20th, Aniti Salinen.
Salonen.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So, as we move down, we have Voss in the Porsche. 22nd is Mons. Jara Zabowski in the Ferrari in 23rd. Renoir, who was our winner in race 1 in 24th. It looks like my thing is completely messed up. I can't see the rest. Could you continue and rescue me?
Well, I can't see too much information, but going off the server, Renoir, yeah, you're right, 24th last race winner. Oh, good. Take us away with Vincenzo.
Vincenzo Sarizze in the Ferrari, notably. Cowley in the Bentley. Gianpietro in 27th in the Porsche. Favre in the Bentley, followed by another Bentley, Steinhauser. And our YouTube friend Matt York in the... Bentley in the Aston Martin, rounding off in 30th. 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go. Vency Rechinov, 31st. Daniel Fernandez, 32nd. And Gregor Michaud, 33rd. Architethus, it's going to be fantastic.
8 seconds. Let's get ready. I'm going to scoot us back up to the front of the race and I'll have a look back on this helicam so we can see things going on. After the...
Prince Croson, Matt Whitburn, about to lead the way onto the warm-up lap.
So if you could perhaps keep a lookout on down the order. We were going to call you the crash cam. Is that bad to say that? It should be more positive.
Mm-hmm.
So a full warm-up lap again. And any particularly raunchy liveries you've seen, Cardinal? I mean, we've all talked about Pitchick's livery. We'll have a little look down the field as we're going on.
We sure have, yeah. I'm taking a look at the...
Van Meerveld in the classic Gulf colours there. I mean, can't really argue with that.
You know what, I did notice that in practice. That is a fantastic looking car. Jay Fang is in the brightest of brightest orange.
I do like Jay Fang's car. He's easy to see and easy to remember. Because it's very orange.
He is, and just behind him, Igny Bucek is in a particular eye-catching purple fluorescent yellow Ferrari number.
Oh yes, just one further behind. Yeah.
We got the most Italian thing I've ever seen outside of a bowl of pasta in Jarzabowski, driving the Italian flag liveried Ferrari.
Oh yeah, here we go. Not a great angle. It is Italian, isn't it? It's like a deconstructed Italian flag.
Like a what am I saying? Tiramisu. On a, just forget it.
A pizza with a tiramisu on top, covered in pasta and cheese.
Shout out to Rechinov down in 31st when the Bulgarian flag donned.
I like it. It's just been smeared on the side. It's nice.
Absolutely. He's got the paintbrush out, just boom, white, green,
classic
red.
York, white and yellow just ahead in his logo colours. Just going to switch back to the front because we're nearly there, I think. Just going to go helicam.
I'm very excited about this.
Lots to see and do.
Here we go, chat. Here we go, viewers.
Type in the chat, please.
hype in chat. Press the hype button now.
So they're lining up. Should
Coming
be
around
the last
Coram
corner,
and
yeah.
Murray's.
This very peculiarly shaped track.
Yes, this sort of bulbous head on it is a funny shape now.
So we're coming up to Murray's, which is the last corner before the Senna straight. And we'll be looking to go any time now.
Take us away, Architectus. Architectus.
So we're just waiting for the flag to drop. Tempted to do a Murray go, 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 but I won't embarrass myself. Crozen poised, Whitburn sniffing, and they're off. They're gone. Respectful at the start. Don't see a lot of problems. People manoeuvring. Oh, Crozen straight through. Contact there between Whitburn and Watts. That's really pushed them back. That's allowed Climbs to come in into second. That's sent a lot of the guys further back than they'd like to have been. Just going to move back a little bit and see this tussle here. Pitchick moving up on the inside. Had a good corner there. Climbs really benefiting from that contact we had between, I can't even remember who, at the start of the race. I think that was our main issue. How's it looking further back? Any spills, thrills?
My eyes have been absolutely fixed on the start. Those two Porsches have got a big luck going in there. Jonathan Watts having the contact. We've got a Jay Fang just had a bump with Arquitez Rodriguez.
Oh, he had a problem last time, and yeah.
They're side by side coming into the big right turn here before they head onto the straight, but it looks like Arquitez Rodriguez has got through.
He's not too bad. So I'm going to go back to the front. Won't let me do that. So we've got at the front Crozen, who's never looked like he was having any problem at the start of that race. Bit of a gap between him and the rest of the field. Climbs, Watts, Pitchick, Whitburn, Nogueira, Shelbonov, and Bogoditsky. Everyone quite tight but quite respectful now in this first lap. No major spins, bit of tussling, bit of touching.
Jay Fang off at the back.
Jay Fang
off at the back, and we got another spinner. Oh,
and it's Cadil. He's facing the wrong way, and there's another car at the back there facing the wrong, who's off the track as well. And Bruno Cadil, the South African, who did so well at Kielami in his home race, he's probably punching the dashboard at the moment. It's frustrating for him.
Oh, sure was. Just before that, Ignacy Butchek made a fantastic move down the straight, held it round the outside to make the move, and then Badil, as you say, facing the wrong way.
Climbs now under attack from Pitchick and Watts. It's like Pitchick just overtook Watts there in that last corner, and they're taking it in turns to attack the back of Climbs. Doesn't have the pace to catch Crozen, who's teaching everybody a sore lesson in how to drive Snetterton at the moment.
Let's not forget, this is Crozen's first Tier 2 race, and it's not even this is a qualifying lap right now. There's no racing to be done.
Once he got past that first corner and avoided all of the other drivers, he just got his head down.
It was the contact behind them, and you know what, Jonathan Watts and co did well to hang on to it. Nobody ended up spinning the wrong way, but it's given Crozen that gap to just stay ahead of potential slipstream. 1.92 seconds a gap now, heading into the main straight.
So Climbs with his trail of fans behind him as he tries desperately to catch up with Crozen. Pitchick just behind.
My eye keeps catching the bright orange Mercedes of Jay Fang up to 15th now, benefiting from some of those bumps and scrapes at the back. Any of our good friends, Arquitez Rodriguez, unfortunately right at the back, I think has pitted a long way off, 52 seconds.
Is that all she wrote?
Still going out there, but likely to be lapped before they catch the next car.
Okay, look at the gap now we've got with Crozen. It's 2 seconds. Everyone else is fighting for scraps with half a second between them on average. But Crozen really pulling that out now. Pitchick has a little look. That looming boat behind you. Nothing puts the fear into you like a Boatley looming large in your rearview mirror.
a massive synthwave Bentley landscape.
He's got a Casio keyboard on the dashboard. He's thrumming out some chords.
Matt Whitburn just behind, having a little touch the rear end. Shibalalov making his way past and going wide.
Bogoditsky there suffering from that with Shilabanov. And Whitburn as well, trying to take advantage. It looks like a bit... that fight between those two is costing them time.
It sure is. They had a little wheel bang, little kiss. Going around the corners there. And, Boroditsky said no thanks this time and is trying to pull away there from the McLaren of Matt Whitburn, who is heading backwards so far.
So we've got this group of 3 now, Climbs, Pitchick, Watts, having a bit of a tussle, a bit of a gap to Shalabanov, who I think had a bit of an incident there with Whitburn, as you said, maybe just a little touch, but it put everybody off. And who's missing out of the top 10? Meerveld, that's more or less where he qualified. Van der Velde was more or less around there, Muscat as well. Fang has done well to crawl back. Crawl, that's a bit harsh. To come back up to 12th. Crawled back into our good graces. Good to see Matt York doing very well there. I think Alexander Irish has probably been one of the big losers in this initial few laps, slipping down to 18th.
18th? Oh my goodness. Now, I will say Alexander Irish is on the tail of a big group that stems from 13th all the way down to 18th. These guys, bit of a fight going on. If we buzz check in amongst there, Alexander Irish just on the tail of
just
them.
Looking at him now.
All kind of evenly spaced. Buzz check
in the Datsun.
Deep on the brakes. I will say, trying to get past Stefan Mons in that fluorescent yellow-purple Ferrari.
Really working that Datsun behind York.
Datsun?
Yeah, the Datsun Nissan.
Oh, yes.
Datsun Sonny. I'll be quiet now.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I didn't even notice this Nissan. Fantastic. So, wait, you're in tier 2? Great. What car are you in? The Nissan. Yes, son. Why the hell not? No Reuters here. No Jaguars.
No. Looks like no Hondas. Not favoured at this tier level.
Yeah, it's almost as if they kill people and shouldn't be driven.
Yes. So, things at the front. Big gaps, 3 seconds from Crozen to Pitchick. Not so much of a big gap, but a healthy gap from Pitchick down to Climbs, who's actually just lost that place. It looks to Watts, so we missed what was going on there. Watts must have some sort of issue because I can't actually click on him. But never mind. So Climbs then with Shelbanov, who's recovered from that little knock with Whitburn. Whitburn a bit less so, who's lost the place to Bogoditsky now in 6th. Then we have Whitburn, the aforementioned, and then pretty much as you were with Meerveld, Van der Velde, Muscat, Witkowski, and Fang crawling back to 12th. Sorry, Mr. Fang. I misspoke.
Oh, no. Fang is on a rampage.
He is.
Where the Fang... last time I commented he was 15th.
He's exciting in orange.
He excites me.
He does, with that wicked-looking orange Mercedes, which I bet if you licked it, it'd probably taste a bit like orange. Or maybe
I bet
mango.
It would be fizzy, like popping candy on the tongue.
Yeah, sherbety sort of orange. Not a boring sort of orange. Really sharp.
Spicing up Norfolk on this lovely sunny day.
Indeed. So I've lost track of where we are, but I'm really excited to talk about Bombhole when we have a chance, and I know you've got some fantastic facts about Bombhole. Nearly said it then. Bombhole. For when we get to that point, so you can save it for later if you like.
Well, I certainly will. I just, as the... who are we following at the moment? Jay Fang is currently just about to go through Bombhole right now. There he goes.
So I'm just trying to see where there's some fights going on. We've got a few nice gaps there, but probably what's a bit spicy is maybe Voss and Fang. So back with Fang as we look to his onboard. Voss having a little look inside there, and really all over the back of that AMG.
Is Voss going to fancy a dive into maybe turn 2? Follow Fang through this fast-paced corner? Yes. Fang is keeping that door shut, moving across defensively just to say, no, sir. But Voss, oh, the connection and spin.
And Voss is off. That's the wrong way.
We didn't want to see it.
That was the race.
We didn't want to see it. Voss is still stranded on the inside there, watching the cars go by.
So many cars.
Matthew's voice can rejoin right now.
Oh, that's a horrible place to be.
The lunge from deep.
Oh. And the cameraman's had enough as well.
Lunge from deep has not worked. I think Voss.
He's not.
Still stranded there.
Pulling away.
Considering making a move. Is Voss stuck?
He's stuck, I think, on that
Voss
curb.
spinning the wheels in the grass. Voss might be out of this race.
Let's see what we can.
That's disappointing.
That's heartbreaking. So,
yeah, those wheels are spinning. I think that is the end. Matisse.
I'm back with Fang.
Race. We'll come back and check later. Arcatucus, you are on mute, just in case you don't know.
Why have I done that again?
Why? I don't know.
It's because I've been coughing. My cough button.
You got a cough button?
I suppose you didn't hear anything to do with the excitement that was the coming off just there with Fang.
To beg your pardon?
So Fang's it's been exciting times. Just checking my gaps at the top. So still 3 seconds from Croson to Pitchick, 2 seconds from Watts up to Pitchick, climbs 2.5, got a half a second, 0.3 of a second, and yeah, some respectful gaps. That was our big tussle, Cardinal, and it kind of all went away with that contact.
It was. Matisse Voice has returned to the pits now, so competitive side of this race over. I would take our attention to 26th and 27th. Not particularly fast gap, but 26th's driver's name has been summarised as MAD, Mad, and 27th James Cowley is Cow. So we got Mad Cow in 26th.
Nice. Who will win?
Not the general public of Great Britain. That's what history's taught us. But a pretty good fight. James Cowley right on the tail of the aforementioned Bulgarian Cow here, or Mad. And having a look, Bulgarian
Cowley.
Running deep.
He's alongside the back wheel. Oh, and there's contact! And right chop's off!
And Ugo Gambietto, defensive, just to stop the Ugo behind trying to get through.
I mean, that's how you go off. It's unfortunate, and he's lost time, but he's held it, and he's still in the race. He's only lost a position.
You take some of our more inexperienced drivers, and that is a car that is off. It is spinning. They've reacted. They don't hold the brakes while they're spinning, and it causes a greater accident. That is a credit to Vinci Richnoff there, albeit unlucky.
It looks like we've got a couple of penalties. Steinhauser, who I think came in second or third in our first race, has a 30-second penalty, and Michaud a 45-second penalty. We can actually
45-second penalty.
We can actually check what those are for somewhere. Maybe you can have a look. But
I will take a look.
Maybe for cutting, because Snetterton is, as we've established, a hellscape. So just joining back with Pitchick now, who's keeping that 3-second gap with Croson pretty steady. I don't think any of these drivers really have to thrash it too much. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that position. Croson's certainly happy with his position. Just trying to make it to that point where they're going to start pitting. Watts climbs. They've switched places a few times, but again, they've settled into those gaps now between one another of around 2.5 seconds. And Shelobonov shrugging off that contact with Whitburn, and Bogoditsky and Whitburn themselves just slightly close. Actually, they're pretty close, aren't they? So,
do you know what I would say? This race is going beautifully for Shelobonov and Bogoditsky. Those two teammates, of course.
Oh, and there's sorry to interrupt, but there's a touch there, and Whitburn sent Bogoditsky right out of the track there, and Oh, I'd love to see that in a replay as to what happened there. But I was just about to say how Whitburn was making a move, and he made a move to the bin.
Well, that is not. I mean, I've moved house a couple of times. That's not where you want to move to. What on earth happened? So who touched who? Matt Whitburn.
Well, it was all a bit of a blur, to be honest, and I was busy listening to you, and Whitburn just shot into that corner, I think on the inside. It looked like they just weren't enough on the brake early enough. And Bogoditsky, well, obviously hasn't paid too big a price. But I think it was Van Meerveld is the one who's really capitalised there, because he's now really sniffing up the rear tailpipes of Bogoditsky in his lovely Golf McLaren.
He fancies a little taste of that nice little Russian there.
He does indeed.
I was just saying this is exactly the result Shelbananov and Bogoditsky want. I essentially going by their previous races, they're finishing 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah,
those guys are leading the championship. These are big points, and if they consistently hold that, there's going to be no touching them for the championship, especially for the constructors' title, which they lead by some 200 points already after 2 races.
So those top 10 finishes, just piling it on, like our good friend Bullet Rider and his tier 10 victory, where he didn't win any races, but was just so consistent in those sort of 2 to 7 place settings.
That, you know what, that's right. We can have exciting races, wonderful race wins, but you gotta keep going, and that's where the real top drivers fit in and make their way into that tier 1, because they are doing it week in, week out, and getting those good results.
And getting all the girls.
As they come round Bombhole, I didn't have to start finish straight. It's Van Meerveld.
So let's go and have a look at what Meerveld. Well, we can see him quite nicely here.
Yeah, what's happening in the championship for Meerveld? Doing pretty good down in 10th, 13th and 7th place. This would be another good result.
Meerveld looking every one of these corners, coming right up to the Ferrari of Bogoditsky, and really probing for an opening. This is one of our closer races, certainly in the top 10. Just can't get to him on those straights. In the Ferrari, as we know, very effective down the straights. Looks like Van Meerveld is catching every time they get into a corner, but just can't translate that into any sort of overtake. Really looking for a mistake here from Bogoditsky.
If you put yourself in a Vince Van Meerveld situation right now, if you're trying to probe the Russian for an entry, find some gap that you could enter into, would you consider the bomb hole?
I would consider the bomb hole. It wasn't always called the bomb hole, though, was it? The drivers, I think, had another nickname for it, and I think it was one of the commentators, when it was first televised, suggested that perhaps they couldn't call it that, and maybe they should switch it to something else. And no bomb was ever dropped there.
Yes. Yeah. So, do we get into facts? So Snetterton, as an airfield used in World War II, was never actually under attack as such. But
Van Meerveld in, sorry, just to say as you're talking.
Van Meerveld in, we're in the pit times.
He's in pit times indeed, and that's relatively early. Looking perhaps for an undercut. Certainly not getting anything out of Bogoditsky, so decided to try the undercut or early pit at least.
You know what? That's probably a good idea. If he wasn't finding a way past right now, the undercut forces Nikita Bogoditsky into making some kind of decision. Bogoditsky has to find pace now, has to put in some good type laps to make sure he's not, this undercut works, basically.
Yeah. Fresh set of tyres, fresh ideas, maybe things will work out a little bit better for him. So just having a look. Sorry, go on.
One thing, just to say, Van Meerveld is coming out into a great area of space. Not a car near him. Apart from Matt Whitburn, of course, who has pitted and is just coming out of the pits, down the pit straight, as Veermeld comes out just ahead. So Veermeld has held off Matt Whitburn. Please go back to you.
Yeah, just looking at this little tussle with Matt York and Budchek. There's a good few cars down this end. I mean, we've got some quite big gaps here, and I don't know if that's a symptom of this course. Maybe people just don't want to race closely with one another because it is a hellscape, obviously, a bombscape, hellscape. But are they perhaps giving each other a little bit more room and relying more on mistakes from other drivers to make the overtakes rather than get it right up there themselves? Thoughts?
I think they'd like to be racing close to each other. I think what we've seen so far is a couple of contacts. That's maybe put the drivers' nerves a little on edge. And there goes Budchek into the pits.
Yeah, Bogoditsky in the pits too.
Oh, I see. So Bogoditsky has to cover off the early undercut. We'll see how that plays out. Matt Whitburn is in with a chance of getting past Bogoditsky, which put him net 7th. Van Merheld into net 7th, rather. Whitburn in net 8th.
Looks like we missed Climbs actually being overtaken, or a pass from Watts on Climbs. Shelbanov still in 5th where we left him. But Kroos and Pitchik and Watts and Climbs trading places there in the Mercedes and the Porsche. So looks like no real pitting happening at the top. I don't remember Witowski being in 8th, but look at your boy, Jay Fang, in 9th. So far, my driver of the day.
Jay Fang. Wow. Lick that Sherpity Merc and tell me what you taste, because he is doing a fantastic job. I would stay out right now if I was Jay Fang. Doing a good job, and you know what? Mark Bastida isn't finding a way back right now, and that Merc is pulling away in the straights like an absolute beast. Just up ahead of him, Chris Witowski and Andy Vandervelde tussling with each other. That Ferrari looking for an opening, looking for a mistake. You know what, I reckon it's difficult to follow the other cars around here, especially this long sweeping curve that enters straight into a braking zone, into the opposite lock, down into the left, and trying to find quick acceleration out. And look at that.
Witowski in.
There's the undercut tactic.
So
Chris with, yeah, take it away.
Yeah,
Is that Climbs in the pits?
Yeah, it looks like Climbs is in the pits. Witowski's in the pits. Let's see if I can get an overhead view and see if I can spot any of the lads here. Oh, that doesn't look very well, does it? So Witowski in, and yeah, Bogoditsky then is our virtual leader right now in terms of, well, not virtual, actual race leader. Sorry, on the track. As Climbs
is
just
it not
comes
still
out.
Rins Croson?
I don't know. Actually, I've utterly failed.
I don't think Rins is pitted yet. You know what? It's easy to understand because Rins is ahead, 3.2 seconds ahead of anybody. Oleg Pitsik still in second. Out there, these two guys running away right now, and with those guys pitting.
York taking advantage at the moment as well. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're just right.
Up to 9th as he tailed by quite a significant amount by Alexander Irish, but having a little look at Mons. But these guys are probably all thinking maybe we'll put our rivalries to one side for a moment and just get these pits done. But that's the way I think as a tier driver, but these guys are made of sterner stuff.
Welcome to the chat and to the stream, John Richardson. Thanks for coming along. Hope you're enjoying the race. Let us know if you're supporting any other drivers out there or if you have a favourite pie.
The answer's always cream.
Yep. No.
Beautiful dessert.
Ask that other follow-up question.
Sorry, I put you off there. Okay, so still half the field to pit, and Krozen still out, Pitchik still out, Watt's still out, Muscat still out. So Climbs has, I think he's done all he can with his pitting. It's gone relatively well, but we won't really see what's happening until everybody's had a chance to enter the box.
Well, let me tell you what's happening. Nikita Bogorytsky has come out ahead of Vince van Merhold and Matt Whitburn. The undercut hasn't worked. And Vince Van Meerholt finds himself behind Nikita, down in 18th.
Let's just have a little look at Bogoditsky if I can find him.
And also Jan Climbs right there as well has come out ahead of that little group. So Nikita is getting a nice tow. Lots of pitters this lap. They've been moved up to 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
So just having a little look at Bogoditsky. They're just in behind Climbs. Not a very big gap there. Could see some interesting racing here. Van Meerveld in touch too, and Whitburn. These guys are going to be doing some saucy stuff, I think, in these last 35 minutes. And I don't think it's going to stay like this when we get to the end of the race.
I don't think so. These are the guys fighting for these top 10, top 5 finishes. And you know what? Vince Van Meerholt's pitted earlier, hoping to get that advantage. Nikita has covered off that undercut. Will that cost them later in the race? Okay, their tires are going to be older. It's a technical track. You can get the tires quite dusty around here and dirty. Might affect some of the graining and the wear. So, how is our weather? I think it's still a beautiful, sunny Norfolk day out there.
It is, and beautiful place, Norfolk. Very flat, much like this track. Beautiful fens and waterways of Norfolk, of which I've whiled away many an hour.
Oh, nice.
In my youth.
It's near the city of Norwich.
It is near Norwich, yes.
My first manager was from Norwich.
Was he an affable fellow who enjoyed motorsport?
No, you know what? In hindsight, wasn't great for my life or my career.
Right.
Let's move on.
That's a sad story.
Well, you know what? We all move on. Bogoditsky in 10th now. Jan Climbs in 9th. Those guys like Jay Fang in the pits. With Matt York just
having a look at Climbs now in front of this train. Sorry, yeah. It's where the action's happening. So Climbs. Oh, it's gone way too wide there, has he? Has he made a mistake? He's had to slot in behind Bogoditsky as he went really wide on that corner. And again, Van Meerveld. He sees blood ahead of him, and he's all over the back of Climbs now, and he's thinking about making a move. Climbs has got to be rattled. And there he goes, Van Meerveld on the outside. Has a look, maybe thinks the better of it. Whitburn.
Taking his defensive line, taking the inside, Jan Climbs.
Whitburn snooping as well, right behind Van Meerveld.
Whitburn is there, licking his lips. Meerveld, the absolute vampire, looking to sink his teeth in here.
Bogoditsky, a little bit of a gap for him there, maybe getting away with this fight going on behind him.
For sure, Bogoditsky did very well to capitalize on some kind of mistake. We presume from Jan Climbs, we just missed it. But up ahead, Steinhauser with a 30-second penalty.
Yeah, that's.
These guys are going to jump him as well.
Is this playing into? I think we've got. Our lad Crozon has just pitted, actually. I was just about to say. He's been out there for quite a while, and he's in the pits now. So it'll be interesting to see where Climbs and Bogoditsky and the rest of these guys come out.
Oleg Pitsik as well, just coming out behind Rins Crozon.
He's got to be following him in terms of tactics, isn't he? Shadowing the back of Crozon. There's no point trying to make any major moves or major changes in tactics. Well, speaking for myself, but maybe he just really wants that second place, and it would be fantastic to get first and second. So potentially just banking that.
Oh, absolutely. Jonathan Watts in behind them there. Just, I guess a net 1-2-3 right now. Excuse me, but Rins Crozon, Oleg Pitsik. Has Pitsik gained on Crozon? It's about 3.5 seconds.
With Pitsik now, and yeah, he was around 3 seconds before.
Okay, so it's steadied.
It's steady.
Pitted at the same time. This could be a consolidation of some hefty points.
So, more interestingly, I think we've got Watts behind Pitsik, not very far behind. Well, it said not very far behind. I think my timings have gummed up, but maybe.
Yeah, it's around. It's just under 4 seconds. Well, 3.7. I think Watts has absolutely pitted earlier, so working out pretty well.
Last of our pitters, Mons, Saritsa, Stenhouse, Steinhauser. I think Saritsa is our only driver still currently out.
Pavel Jarbowski, currently out in the lead in the most Italian thing I've seen. Has not pitted. Has a 1 second gap to Stefan Mott, to cars. You know what? The cars in second, third, and fourth all in the pits right now.
That
and
might
there
be the
goes
end of it then.
cruising past them. Yeah.
Just coming up to the halfway point now with 30 minutes played and just over 30 left to go. As Crozen continues his charge, opened his lead up to 4.2 seconds. He was around just over 3 before this whole pitting happened. And Pitchik there in the back of our picture, we can just see coming around. There's a big gap between him and Watts. And these boys settling in for a head down, get through the back markers, victory session, one would think.
It looks that way right now, Arctigus. Absolutely. Just looking to chat. Let's go Van Meerveld from Sem Doctor.
Let's have a little look at our friend Van Meerveld, because he's been exciting to watch. He's around here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Again, look, looks like Whitburn's got past him. You remember, Whitburn was at the back of that group of 4, and he's
and they're still behind Jan Climbs.
They are indeed. You can see them just there. And looks like Van Meerveld wasn't really happy about giving up that place. Might have made a mistake, which just got a little wide in one of the corners. We didn't see, but Whitburn snooping.
I think Whitburn got a toe in the grass there, a little wheel on the dirty stuff, and Meerveld has fancied a little toe down this straight, but the gap looks too big for a lunge from downtown right now. Sticking to the back of Climbs. Is that?
Just on board with Whitburn now.
Oh, that's Shelabanov. Alexei, just behind them.
Yeah, he's. Is he making gains on Van Meerveld? Van Meerveld must feel
not ahead of them.
Shelabanov, yeah, he was up in 5th, 6th. He was going great guns. So maybe a problem with the pit strategy. I mean, we've seen a lot of people cottoning onto this manual versus automatic pitting. You got to imagine that these tier 2 guys mostly do manual pit stops. So maybe that's not such a thing in tier 2. But I think you're right, and Shelabanov is out of order from where we were before the pits, and probably making time here on Van Meerveld as he's held up, it would seem, by Whitburn.
I think this will be. I think Alexei will be an interesting car to follow or check in on as this last half an hour ticks on, because I think Alexei is pitted later. Bogoritsky pitted to cover off the undercut from Van Meerveld, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Shabanov has pitted later again, just probably on the half-hour mark. The undercut has worked for these other drivers, unless there's been a mistake that we've missed. But Shabanov was going to be in fresher tires. This could be a spicy little, tingly little fight.
Absolutely, and you're here to watch it with us on AOR live on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Let's have a bit of a hoorah in the chat. Who do you think's going to win? Well, that's actually a ridiculous question.
I think we're being rinsed.
I'd like to know who people's driver of the day is. For me, well, it could be a number of contenders. We'll talk about who our choices are at the end of the day. But I've liked what I've seen from Meerveld. Whitburn's been fun to watch, but a bit punty. Fang, York's done nicely. People who've come up from the bottom. Looks like Dorr has had a bit of a problem as well. He'd qualified well in the top 10, but he's languishing now in 20th.
Don't know what's happened, Dorr.
No.
Speaking of languishing, we've got Matisse Voss. I think has been on the pits for, maybe 20 minutes now.
I can't click on his name, so that for me is not a good sign. This is Michaud. We're going to give him a bit of love. He's at the back, but I think he deserves his time live with us on AOR with a resplendently coloured car that he's driving at the moment. German colours, I'd say.
It reminds me of DHS.
Yes, it does.
He is willing to send it. Is Gregar.
DHL.
DHL.
Did you know that the H in DHL owned his own island and was a bit of a character, Epsteinish? Don't really want to say that.
Oh, right, okay. Did he like to visit Pizza Hut or something?
Yeah, he led a very interesting and colourful and criminal life and disappeared in a plane crash, and nobody ever heard from him again, but there's rumours that he's still alive. So, something that DHL don't put around very much.
We're not insinuating that Grégoire Michaud has anything to do with
absolutely
Edge.
not. I think those colours are probably just a coincidence, and I think it's time to go back to the front of the race where I can no longer talk about those sorts of things.
Okay, we get who have we got up ahead? It's
Krozen, Pitchik, Watts, Bogoditsky. Did Bogoditsky make a move on Climbs there? I'm not sure Climbs was down in 5th.
Yeah, no, we think Climbs maybe ran wide or something, and then got into a bit of a fight with Whitburn and Van Mervelde. But it looks like Climbs starting to leave a little gap now between himself and Matt Whitburn.
I mean, Climbs, Whitburn, Van Mervelde, and Sholobonov. Name a more iconic quartet. I don't think you can.
Well, you know what? Looking at the championship table, we're only in tier or race 3. I mean, every point counts, and these guys are fighting out for those higher echelons of the league table. So, you know, just to put a bit more of a wider context on it, you know, every place, these guys passing each other are taking points off each other, and they are fighting for those top positions. Shabanalov, of course, more importantly for him, leading the championship right now.
Yeah, important for him to stay in the top 10 and stay clean. He's at the back of this this quartet, and you can see the. Let's just jump on board with him quickly. You can. It's not working. You can see there's a pretty big gap between him and his next driver, Witkowski. So if he keeps his head down for these 23 minutes, nothing silly with Van Mervelde, although you know it's likely to happen. He's going to place himself well, and I'm not sure how many of these top drivers above him are doing better than him in terms of points. I know Pitchik is, though, so that should be interesting to see at the end of this race.
Yeah, Pitchik 5th, and obviously the winner of the last race in his big Bentley. There's another big points haul on the cards today, taking it back to the Ukraine. Muscat as well in 6th, was on the podium last time around.
He was. He did very well.
We have a couple of messages in chat. John Richardson, my favourite pie is lemon.
Is that lemon meringue? You've got to imagine it's lemon meringue. Is there another kind of lemon pie? I don't think so.
You could have a lemon tart, like a little biscuity base.
Yeah, you're right.
But I guess lemon meringue is the king, right, of the lemony pies.
If so, what is your thought on key lime, John? Because, you know, it's a bit less traditional at this side of the pond, but a big mainstay in Florida, in the southern part of the US.
John Richardson could be it could be
Floridian.
a rider himself, a Floridian.
Yeah.
He may be a key lime maker, distributor. We don't know. Other comments. Ryan can't drive. Let's go Rins, and S Clark 87. Rins, let's go mates.
Nice.
Big support for our 5.5 second gap and race leader.
I mean,
Rins Trojan.
He's not boring because he's an excellent driver, but again, the last couple of races we've had, the person in the lead has been in the lead and meant it for the whole thing. Krozen following that tradition, because he's untouchable out there in front in his Vauxhall Astra.
And you know what? All the credit to him in the leading this GT3 car Tier 2 race in a Vauxhall Vectra. Stupendous.
I know, it's amazing what they can do back at GM with these cars now. I feel like we haven't given him enough love or enough screen time, even though he's won. I'd probably dry his eyes with the winning certificate, so I don't feel too bad. But
he'll be okay. I think he'll be
all
okay.
right.
He's currently doing No, the second fastest lap out there. The fastest lap last time around was Jonathan Watts, our third place driver, who was a 10th faster than Pitchick. But absolutely fastest lap of the race so far is your boy Rins.
Your boy. It's he's owned this race. Clearly, he's going to pack up and move straight to Norfolk once this is all done, because he loves it here.
I think this is actually his CV and email composition to Jonathan Palmer, who owns the track.
Indeed.
And just is a statement of, I'll have one of these corners named after me. Thanks very much.
I think we can
Signed,
get
Range Cruising.
we can get the bumhole corner renamed. I think that could be the Crozen corner.
The Crozen corner. How good does that sound?
It rolls off the tongue. It's beautiful.
Rolls off a lot of things. Beautiful.
So we're just under 20 minutes left now of this race as we follow Watts round in honour of his fastest lap. Just gonna have a little look. Oh look, got door right at the back. Look at the state of his car. Obviously had some sort of major issue in the Audi. Wonderful livery, as we know, but look, it's that is not. Fortune has not been kind to the Audi there.
Well, I would say the Audi has a difficult time with curbs. So I understand, because I can't drive it. And Snetterton has curbs that kill. And obviously Door's a great driver, but he's getting beat up out there. And
it looks like we've got Bruno Cadil as well, who did so well in his home race.
I think we've lost Alexander Irish. Alexander was making a pretty strong push.
Don't see him anywhere out there. But Steinhauser bringing up the rear with that terrible 30-second penalty, but yeah, it doesn't look like...
Sorry, I don't know what happened, but what we do have is a bit of a fight for 17th, or 16th rather. Ryan Renoir, one of the race winners, has... Well, they can smell each other. Four cars.
All over the back of Rodriguez. And this little train with Renoir, Soritze, Van der Velde.
Yes, Soritze almost into the back of Renoir there on one of the corners. Into the back straight now, heading into the final sector. It looks like Ryan Renoir in that Ferrari has a great run down these straights on the Bentley.
Oh, had a little look there.
Had a wee peek.
Looks a bit like a bit of lag to me for Renoir, so I thought he was making a janky manoeuvre, but I think it was just an internet thing.
If it's the pass you seek, you've first got a peek, and Ryan Renoir looks like he's ready to pull the slingshot here.
He's ready to have a look.
On sends the bump.
Oh!
And we all four connect. It all started with Ryan Renoir touching and spinning Arquez Rodriguez.
Just as I was switching cam.
Nothing he could do about it. Rejoining the track.
Oh, that's
ahead of a couple of oncoming cars there.
And they're down to 20th, 21st, 22nd. And Renoir down to 23rd. And, well, I bet he's probably bitten through his bottom lip in frustration there.
No tongue left on him.
So it looks like Van der Velde is actually... I thought he was coming up close. He had a 0.09 gap there with Nogueira. And I wonder if there was a bit more spice to be had there. It looks like he's gaining. And let's try and get on board with those guys.
Yeah, while you get that lined up, Vincenzo Soritze was the winner out of all that. If you can call him winner. But he's
the least unfortunate.
Yeah, into 16th, clear air now, where he is in amongst that pack before.
So, Nogueira with Van der Velde sniffing, Salonen lurking. Oh, he has a look. Van der Velde. That didn't help, that changed the camera. And Van der Velde's through. He's past the Bentley into the S bend. And Van der Velde picks up that place. Salonen says, I like the look of that. Maybe I'll have a try of that next time around.
Why not? You know what? Motor racing, Finnish drivers, hand in hand. Hopefully no more accidents there. Taking a wide line into there to get a good run on this. I think you're going to see an attempt into turn 1 or turn 2 here from Salonen. Sniffing the absolute rear end of that big Bentley or Aston. Help me out. I'm on the helicam right now looking down on them.
Oh, and there's a touch there. Back left to front right of Salonen. Everyone looks okay.
Still alongside, but that
oh, and there's another touch.
That's aggressive defense.
Salonen pulls out, thinks the better of it. There's a lot of grass sprayed up that Aston Martin.
Well, I mean, the Aston treats it as tarmac anyway. It makes no difference. Treats that curb and the grass thereafter as if it is just an extension of the track.
Salonen had another look there just down that straight and thought the better of it, and he really wants this place.
Nicholas Negura just doing the Gandalf, you shall not pass here, doing whatever he can to hold on to 18th.
But you know what happened to Gandalf after that, right?
No, I stopped watching. It was just shall not pass.
It was too much.
There and
okay.
Yeah. It was like, fair enough, Gandalf.
I mean, he came back, but it was several races later.
Gotcha. How's Negura doing in the championship? How much does this fight matter?
Well, I've just been shocked by looking at the top 5, actually, where we've not been paying much attention, and I see Ricardo Borgia. Oh no. No, my thing's messed up. It looks like Watts and Bogoditsky and Climbs have really bedded in. The gap out to Pitchick is now 5 seconds. Watts has pulled a little bit in there to 2 seconds, but got a big gap to Bogoditsky, another 1.5 second gap to Climbs, and Whitburn has pulled himself all the way up to meet those top 5 guys, and is only half a second behind Climbs at the moment.
Nogueira, I just had a look, second in the championship, finished second at the last race. You know, okay, this isn't going to be his best result, but every point probably going to count. All these drivers are going to have their favourite tracks. And as you were saying up near the front, is that, yeah, the gap between Pitchek and Jonathan Watts, right down.
Yeah, that's, I don't know what's happened there. Pitchick's made a mistake. He hasn't lost any time to Crozin, so it kind of suggests that Watts is just really putting some pace down at in the last 15 minutes of this race.
Oh, well, as you say that, Pitchick's last lap, a 1:46.9, that suggests...
Not good enough.
Yeah, some kind of running wide, kick, you maybe catching a bit of dirt, hit a curb badly. Something's dropped him back.
I'm just trying to see the front of his car. Not very grassy, but we can see Watts looming right behind him there. And,
absolutely. Watts gained 7 tenths on that lap alone, and on this lap, another 4 tenths. A 1:46.7 for Pitchick to a 1:46.2 for Jonathan Watts. This is a battle for second place incoming.
What may have happened is that Pitchick's synthesizer may have slid off the dashboard as he took one of those corners, wasn't secured properly, and may have distracted him, therefore losing him time on one of those laps.
An absolute D major of a note.
Yeah. F in chat. So Pitchick has actually made up a bit of time on Crozin, which makes me wonder how Crozin's getting on. If Pitchick has had such not a bad time, but a distinctly average time in the last few minutes, with Watts catching him up. So maybe actually Watts chasing him down is fueling him to better things. But I suspect more likely Crozin has potentially had a few issues. As we just try and join him now. Maybe he's got fatigued with being out here on his own for so long with only blue flags to keep him company.
Well, you know, traffic could be an issue. Plenty of back markers here where we've got a big race catalogue today, 33 drivers. We've got a couple of cars obviously out to Alexander Irish and Matisse Voss earlier. But Rins Crozin could, of course, be saving tyres just to see this last 11.5 minutes or so through, just to take it home at this stage.
Just on board with Crozin now, and That looks like a calm cockpit. I'd like to see inside Pitchick's cockpit, actually. Yeah, that synthesizer has definitely been shifted from the dashboard. He's probably going to have to recover that towards the end of the race, at least when this race is finished. But that's gone. So maybe now he can just concentrate on putting some solid times in, and we'll have to keep an eye on how he's getting on. 146 is 46.5 his last lap, so a slight improvement there in what he was doing.
It is. It's sort of a damage limitation now, but the problem's going to be that even with that, Jonathan Watts is within 1 second and is going to be getting a slipstream, which isn't going to help with the pressure. And that Merc is a bit of a tasty little beast down the straights here.
Indeed. Just going to try and see if I can get a view of what Watts is looking at.
We got a fight happening with Mark Batista down in 10th. Is having a look round the outside.
With Mons.
With Mons.
Yeah, we're on board with Mons now. And
they got Budchick for company right behind, waiting to pick up any pieces if they leave any crumbs behind. No line pie for chat. No line pie wanted, required. Only lemon.
Right. Well, we've cleared that up.
Glad we have. Oh, that big car in its home. Punching a hole in the air, but just so powerful.
A huge vacuum created behind the Bentley. I'm surprised that Mons can breathe, actually, with the sheer volume of air being pushed out of the way by Bastida's Bentley.
And they just round the bomb hole as they head up towards the tip.
Bomb hole.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. Slip of the tongue.
Sorry, the Krotzen corner.
The Krotzen corner. Of course. That's so good. Better get it right, otherwise he'll rinse us after the race.
And that's a red card. I would have usually moved to a pun yellow card, but for that sort of pun, it's a straight red.
Okay, in the pun bin.
You could just put your microphone in the bin, and we'll see you next week.
Jay Fang is on the back of this group of cars, just coming up behind the Matt York, Budchick, Mons, and Batista.
Yeah, coming up on the back of York.
Smells the idea of a top 10 finish, I would say.
And these guys have been battling down at this end, and you know, they've been consistent. I think there's been a bit of slapping and tickling, but you know, they've got to be happy with top 15, inside the top 15, and they've been tight this whole race.
They have been. Jay Fang let's just check. This would be their finest finish of the season. Our only Chinese driver. Yeah,
he's been a bit unlucky. He's spun off a few times. The Mercedes, obviously, maybe a new car for him or something like that. But his pace has been great. If he can collect himself and keep it on the track, you know, he's definitely looking at top 10s.
And you know what? Mons is just right behind him in the championship too. So these guys are starting to look like they're at a similar level, maybe. Early maybe doors to say that, but we could see some good tasty fighting here throughout the whole season. Never mind right now. Okay, 7 minutes. 7 minutes left in this.
Checking in with Crozen. He's lonely. It's 3.8 seconds at the moment, and that's come down a bit.
That was 4.5, maybe 5 seconds. So, but I mean, look at the gap between Pitchick and Watts.
Yeah.
Watts has happened.
Yeah.
I tell you, Watts has happened. Jonathan Watts has done a 1:48, 2 seconds slower.
Must have been doing a bit of mowing there somewhere around the track, and perhaps a lack of concentration after 55 minutes or so of racing.
Well, he was catching up to Oleg Pitchick. I wonder, was there a connection? Maybe, you know, not that's caused Pitchick any loss of time. But,
that seems like something that
wrecked himself for a lunge or something.
Seems like something the viewers would have wanted to see at the top of the league, but obviously we were busy.
No. The viewers just want to see cars out by themselves, no close racing.
Yeah. I get your point.
Yeah.
Checking in on Pitchick, still good. And it looks like Whitburn is still in this tussle with Climbs, Whitburn, Shelobonov. They've lost Van Meerveld a little bit, who's 2.5 seconds further back. So the quartet is broken up, much like when the Beatles, of course, parted ways in the 70s. But maybe Shelobonov Van Meerveld can pull back in. But
oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't know if you remember our Fabulous 2, rather than the Fab 4, but Ryan Renoir and Arquettes Rodriguez, the two damaged automobiles,
yes,
24th and 25th,
they didn't look right.
Ryan Renoir is struggling to control the car and was sideways through one of the hairpins there, with Rodriguez taking a look. They are still, even though it's 24th and 25th, they are tussling it out like a pair of...
Just looking at these guys now, Bulls,
as they head round the bomb hole, the corrosion corner. I'm pretty sure they're probably nursing some heavy damage here, but
there's bits all over the cars. I mean, they need a good wash afterwards. But these guys have been tussling for quite a while, and all they really got to show for it is 24th and 25th.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's points. There's a couple of drivers here DNF'd, as we know, but yeah, they'll want it for more, and they were in a good position too, so that's not going to help. What's that further up the road ahead of them? Bruno Cadilli, James Cowley.
Yeah, that's very tight.
Oh, we got a nice three-way here.
My favourite. Cowley on the outside.
Fancies it. Touch on the grass in the braking zone,
taking
though.
it wide, and did he lose it a bit there? Difficult to tell from that camera angle.
It was just that his outside wheels just touched the grass under braking and couldn't slow the car down
and
enough.
Cadill's lost it there. Oh, and there's collision.
Wow,
so,
this is one of the most aggressive three-ways I've ever seen.
Someone could get hurt. So Dorr sort of streaking away there as Cowley and Cadil continue to take lumps out of one another. And
we were just talking about 25th, 24th, lowly on the points, but points all the same. Look how much it means to these guys. This is tier 2 racing. They're putting, their credentials down to Apex Online Racing here. They know what's at stake. It's, if they get these good results, they finish these races, that's going to help them longer term just to finish this race, get some points on the board.
Absolutely, Cardinal. Every point counts as we move into the last 3 minutes. And are they going to put it all on the line for the sake of these last 3 minutes?
You bet. Here we go. On the inside, James Cowley. I think he's already got the move done.
He's tied that up nicely. Not really contested from Dorr.
Oh, he prized open the door.
And Cadil likes the look of it as well. He comes up on the inside. And there's a touch there on Dorr.
I mean, the door was open, but don't take it in like that. Okay, I think Door's got a bit of damage there, and there's
he must be struggling.
Much he can do with that.
The front of his car looks particularly grotty. It's difficult to tell where the damage is, and the paintwork begins, but it's that's seen a lot of curb and a lot of not track.
And a lot of Bruno Cadilli.
Yeah.
Ryan Renoir right on the back of it now too, just for good measure.
So I'm just going to go back in with our race leader, Crozen, who's not quite sure where he is on the track actually right now. Should know that. Commentators should know that sort of thing. But 1.5 minutes left, so just looking for his time gap. 3.7, so steady as we were for the last few laps. Pitchick 3.7 behind, and Watts about 4 seconds behind him. Trying to see if anyone else is really fighting now for places, and it's really all again about Whitburn. Been really aggressive this race, all race.
It really has. Rins Crozian just coming up through Williams onto the Bentley straight. which his Vauxhall Vector doesn't recognise. Up into Brundle and out through Nelson into the bomb hole.
I'm just looking at through Whitburn's peepholes at his battle with Climbs right now, and you know, but lost it a little bit there on that exit. But he's just 0.2 behind Climbs, and you know, is he going to throw it all on the line for this extra place? Top 5?
Top 5. I let me tell you, you won a top 5. I don't know if you've, you know, these are big points. There's a big difference in the points at these higher places, so this counts.
Shelebanov isn't done either. He's resting in 7th right now. It's really just these guys tightly together at the end of this race with 15 seconds to go.
Oh, we've got an opportunity now.
Whitburn had a look there. Climbs went a bit wide on that corner.
Couldn't get the acceleration he wanted, but a fantastic toe.
Shelebanov having a look on the outside, and Whitburn sweeps out and hits the back of Climbs.
Oh.
Climbs off.
Climbs well off, spinning.
Well, I don't want to know what's going on inside that
on the
car,
last lap of this race.
He must be
Because Rin's Crozier is on the last lap. You would be.
And
you
look,
would be. And
look who's capitalised on that anarchy. It's Shelebanov. He's up into
leader.
5th. Up into 5th. What a turn up for the books at this last lap or so of the race.
And there we go. Our Russian team, 4th and 5th. Big points. These guys are consistent.
Late
very, very
drama.
Good.
Okay, so let's give Valeri, sorry, not Valeri, Krozen the plaudits he deserves. You can see Pitchik there out in the back, who's also had an astounding race, but it's really been Rince's race from start to finish.
It has been. He's coming through the last couple of corners here, past Bombhole, Coram, and he'll come out of Murray's, see the checkered flag ahead, and take an absolutely sensational victory. First race of the Tier 2 season for Rince Crozier, first place.
My God, he's done it.
You can't ask for more than that.
Pitchik, fantastic in second. Watts just coming over the line now. Bogoditsky. I don't think Matt Whitburn's going to be able to keep many of those points. See what the stewards have to say about that late incident. But Shelebanov really coming off the better of everybody there in that little tussle.
Where's Jan Climbs, right? It looks like Sheldon Muscat has
He's down in
DNF'd.
10th. He's down in 10th.
Just finished ahead of Butchek. And yeah, Jay Fang finished 12th.
That's a good overall effort. He was up and down like a yo-yo through that order. I'd like to see that the graph which shows your order for Fang, because he was up and down. But just goes to show the quality of pace that he has, if not, staying on the track. Van der Velde back in 17th. No slight. Nogueira obviously had some major problems down in finishing in 19th because he was doing so well up at the top.
Yeah, Nogueira taking 19th, just behind or just ahead of GM Pietro.
Dorr in 23rd, just behind Bruno Cadil, who had a poor day as well. Cowley 21st. I don't know where Mad is, but Cow finished in 21st certainly. Renoir got to be disappointed in the Lamborghini with that 24th after the maiden win of the season at Kyalami. Steinhauser couldn't really shake off that 30-second penalty, and I think after that got Michaud. I think it was the last on track. Yeah,
Absolutely was.
Raichanov, Irish, Muscat, and Voss all failing to finish, and Voss failing to pity. So there you have it. Crozen.
My goodness. Chat, what do you reckon? Rens Frozen, the real deal?
Another new winner. Pitchik is consistent. Certainly is. And those points, I think, for Pitchik and Shelebanov, it'd be interesting to see where they come out in the championship. I think they're going to be pretty close up at the top. Van
Oh,
Meerveld, Whitburn.
big shout out to all HBCheck. First in the last race, second in this race. I mean, that's pretty consistent.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, hopefully we'll hang around a little bit to see if we can get anyone to talk to us. Not all people often do want to talk to us, but we're going to do it anyway.
Please do, Archidus, work your magic.
Well, we've already got Ola Pitchik in, so I'm going to bring him in and ask him about his second place. Ola, how are you doing?
Hello. Fine, thanks.
Good. Congratulations on your second place. Crozen, I mean, he was just led start to finish, and we saw you doggedly keeping that gap at around 3 or 4 seconds. Did you have any answer to Crozen's pace at all today?
I have one. It's Porsche. I think
simple enough.
I think on this track, especially Porsche car is very fast, and during this race we had seen that, and quali session also we had seen that Porsche is very fast, and Cruiser, especially on this car, is absolutely astonishing.
Well, it was a fantastic combination. I mean, he's kind of the only Porsche in the top 10. I think Klimes, who came in 10th, was in a Porsche as well and had a nasty spill at the end, so that's not really his true position. But yeah, you know, fantastic race. Did you... I think you were second start to finish. So any concerns at all during the race?
No. I started this race from P5. So I had 3 overtakes. It was a good overtakes, but all of them was at the start of the race, at a couple of first laps. Climbs I overtook, and Merc guy who was behind the whole race. So from the start it was very tough, and it was very interesting part of the race. But then I just I was trying to keep my pace, manage my tires, and look at gaps in front and behind me.
But it served you very well.
Oleg, Cardinal here. You drove a fantastic race. Jonathan Watts behind you in the Mercedes, obviously very fast in a straight line. It looked like he was approaching you quite quickly in the last few laps. Were you aware of that Mercedes right behind before you maybe had a mistake or something?
Yes, yes. I had to watch his pace during the race, and managed my pace also. I have this, let's say, I was not pushing very hard because I tried to do so, and I couldn't get to the Porsche in front. Then I just decided to hold my position to look after the tires, and when Watson Mercedes was closing, I just increased my pace and go away.
Fantastic, and I think that leaves you in a fantastic place in the championship, a first and a second place now.
Yes, it's very good for the championship. Shame that I couldn't.
Yeah, you missed race 1.
The first race, but this is the longest, a big one, a big championship. A lot of rounds are in front, and we'll see what happens next.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in Germany next time around, and hope that's one of your favourite tracks.
Yes, I like it a lot.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thanks very much. We're going to have an actual chat now with the winner, Rince Crozen. So thanks very much, Ola. We'll catch up with you next time, and feel free to drop in commentary anytime.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers. Rince, welcome and congratulations on what was frankly a stunning victory.
Thank you. Yeah, it was my debut. Went very well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, top of qualifying and bit of a tussle behind you on lap 1, which allowed you to stretch out your lead almost immediately. And you held that lead the whole time. Were there any points during the race where you felt that you were perhaps under any pressure at all?
The last couple of laps, my tires were a bit dropping off, and Pichi was closing quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was first 5.8 seconds, and we finished at 2.8 seconds. But
Yeah, we saw. Yeah.
But after all, went very well actually.
Well, congratulations. I mean, you owned it. And have you ever been to Norfolk? Was something that we wanted to ask you.
No.
I think you should move there. You clearly love it there.
Yeah, it's a good track. It's a really good track.
Well, that's good that we found somebody who enjoys the track, because everyone else, well, a lot of other people say it's a hellscape. But that's maybe just me.
That's underrated.
Underrated. That's a good way of putting it. A lot of support for you in the chat as well. See Ryan as well. He was a big supporter of yours throughout the whole race.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's my friend. I'm doing a lot of AOR Enduros with him.
Yeah, well, certainly one of the most recognised characters we have here. Cardinal.
Yeah, Rins, I just want to say congratulations. My name's Cardinal. We decided to name the bomb hole corner after you. It's now the Rogien corner. The Rins, the Crojan corner, sorry.
Yeah, Crojan, yeah.
We loved watching you just lead from start to finish. You were first in the practice, first in qualifying, first in the race. You got the hat trick and the fastest lap.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's pretty good. And this is, are we right in saying this is your rookie season in AOR, in the ACC leagues?
Yeah, this is my first season, first race at AOR.
Wow. You can't ask for more than that. What an introduction.
Yeah, very good.
Well, fantastic. We look forward to seeing you in Germany. I hope you're taking part in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's the odd one out race after the horrific incident we had last week with the cancellation. But yeah, look forward to seeing you, Ole and Watts, and the rest of the top 10 and indeed bottom 10 at Germany next week. So I think we've about run out of time. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us, and congratulations again.
Thank you for organizing.
No worries at all. A pleasure to watch you, and I hope it was for the people at home. So, Cardinal, I think that's probably it. It's been fabulous to have you with me today. Do miss my main man Tim, but I'm hoping he's having a cup of tea and listening to us. But it's been a real good crack to be with you tonight.
It certainly has. I appreciate the opportunity. Obviously, we can all look forward to Timosaurus being back next week, all being good. And yeah, look forward to you then. You taking over from me in the rest of the season after Nürburgring. Oh gosh, well, I better brush up. Yeah, you do so much prep. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much. Thanks to everybody on the stream. Thanks to everybody on the chat as well for flinging things our way. And we'll see you next time on Apex Online Racing for race number 4 at Nürburgring this time next week. Stay well all. Thank you.